Dog comes to hospital to say goodbye to his owner. Then looks at doctor and realizes nasty truth. Hospitals are supposed to save lives. But that night, one small room turned into a battleground of trust, fear, and loyalty. A young woman lay unconscious on the bed, her fragile breaths tethered to the hum of machines. At her side was her German shepherd, Max, silent, watchful, unwilling to move. Doctors, officers, and nurses saw him only as a grieving animal. But when a syringe glinted under fluorescent light, Max erupted, barking, snarling, planting himself between the woman and the approaching doctor. Everyone thought it was madness. Just a desperate dog refusing to accept reality. But seconds later, the truth behind that needle would stun everyone in the room and prove that sometimes animals see danger where humans refuse to look. Lena had been admitted after collapsing unexpectedly. The doctors told the officers it was just a seizure, that she needed treatment quickly. But what most of the hospital didn't know was that Lena was not an ordinary patient. She was a protected witness, scheduled to testify against powerful men tied to corruption and crime. That was why 3 armed officers were assigned to guard her room. Not because of her illness, but because someone might try to finish her before she could speak. Max, her loyal German shepherd, had chased the ambulance all the way, darting through intersections, barking desperately until an officer finally let him inside. From the moment Lena was wheeled into her room, Max refused to leave her side. Hours passed. Lena's body lay pale, lifeless, but not gone, her breath shallow, her hand limp. Max nudged her fingers again and again, whining softly. He licked her palm as though he could pull her back into the world. "Poor thing," muttered Officer Collins, a broad man in his 40s, leaning against the wall. "Doesn't understand she might not wake up." But Max understood more than anyone realized. His ears perked up whenever her monitor beeped irregularly. He tensed when footsteps approached. He shifted his body protectively whenever someone leaned too close. That evening the door opened, and in walked a doctor with sharp features, white coat, crisp syringe in hand. His eyes scanned Lena's body, then the dog. "She needs sedation," he said firmly, his tone clipped. "Otherwise she'll seize. I'll need space. Move the dog." But Max growled, a low rumbling sound that vibrated through the room. Officer Ramirez, younger and hammer than his partner, frowned. "Strange. He's been quiet all day." The doctor didn't flinch. "Animals don't understand medicine. Restrain him." But the moment that needle gleamed under the lights, Max's instincts screamed louder than any words could. Max leapt forward, planting his front paws on the bed, blocking Lena's body. His growl deepened, teeth flashing. "Control him," Collins barked, reaching for the leash. But the dog twisted free, standing firm between Lena and the doctor. His body shook with desperation, his tail rigid, ears pinned back. The doctor scowled. "If she doesn't get this now, she could die. Do you want her blood on your hands?" His tone was too sharp, too desperate. Ramirez froze. He knew exactly why they had been assigned to this room. Lena wasn't just sick. She was dangerous to people outside this hospital. She carried names, dates, and evidence that could destroy lives. And if she woke up, she would testify. That was why she was being guarded. And maybe that was why this doctor's hand was trembling. Lena stirred faintly, her lips moving in a broken whisper. "Stop," Collins gasped. She spoke. The doctor snapped. "Reflex. Don't waste time. Give me room." But Max barked again, frantic, pressing his nose to Lena's chest before snapping his head toward the syringe. His bark wasn't random. It was targeted. Ramirez's instincts screamed, "Doctor, let me see that vial." The man's eyes flickered, fear slicing through his calm mask. "There isn't time," Max lunged, nearly knocking the syringe out of his hand. Ramirez grabbed the wrist, twisting it upright. The label glared back at them. "Potassium chloride." Ramirez's voice dropped like steel. "This isn't sedation. This is lethal." The doctor's mask collapsed. He stammered. "You don't understand. I was paid. She can't be allowed to talk." Collins staggered back, horrified. He was here to kill her. Ramirez shoved the syringe onto the tray, and this dog just exposed him. The room erupted in chaos the moment the label was read aloud. Collins lunged, grabbing the doctor by the shoulders, slamming him against the wall. Ramirez, voice sharp as a blade, barked into his radio. "Room 12, back up now. Attempted homicide on the witness." The doctor twisted violently, his face pale with terror. "You don't understand," he shouted, spit flying from his lips. "If she testifies, I'm finished. Everyone is finished. They'll kill me. They'll kill my family. Max's growls filled the room, low and guttural. His body still braced protectively over Lena's chest. He didn't trust the officers to hold the man. Didn't trust anyone but himself to guard her. The doctor struggled harder, eyes wide and frantic. You think this is about me? She saw things she wasn't supposed to see. People in power, real power, are terrified of her opening her mouth. His voice cracked into hysteria. I had no choice. Do you think I wanted this? Collins forced his arms behind his back, cuffs snapping shut. His voice shook with fury. You were going to murder a helpless woman. Don't you dare act like the victim. But the doctor thrashed even harder, his words spilling like a man already broken. They paid me. Do you hear me? Paid me to make sure she never opened her eyes again. And you think you can protect her? You can't protect yourselves. His voice cracked on the last word, breaking into a sob. It only made Max snarl louder, ears pinned flat, body trembling with the effort to contain his rage. Ramirez shoved the syringe into an evidence bag. You'll rot in prison for this, and when she wakes, she'll finish what she started. The doctor laughed bitterly, head pressed against the wall. If she wakes, she's a dead woman walking. You're all dead. The tension spiked. Even Collins' hands wavered. For years, he had stared down killers, gangsters, armed men with nothing to lose. But the raw fear in this man's voice was something different. It hinted at forces outside these walls, forces that stretched far beyond one hospital room. And then, through the heavy silence, a faint sound cut through, a shallow gasp. All eyes snapped toward the bed. Lena's lips parted. Her chest rose more firmly. Her eyelids fluttered, heavy but fighting to open. For the first time in days, she was waking. Max. The word cracked from her throat like dry paper. The German shepherd's body shook with relief. He whined, scrambling closer, licking her hand furiously. His tail wagged in desperate bursts, thumping against the sheets. Ramirez's eyes softened, relief washing over his stern face. She's coming back. Colin's voice cracked as he whispered, she's alive, thanks to him. His eyes flicked toward the dog and shame burned his chest. Minutes earlier, he had been ready to drag Max away. He had almost handed her life to a killer. Ramirez crouched beside the bed, speaking low but firm. Lena, you're safe. He didn't touch you. Max didn't let him. Her eyes flicked between them, weak, hazy. But when they settled on Max, a single tear rolled down her cheek. Her lips formed words again, softer this time, almost a prayer. You stayed, Max whimpered, pressing his face against her shoulder, refusing to move. His chest heaved, his eyes glistened, but he never left his post. The room, once filled with shouting, now stood in reverent silence. The truth had been exposed. The attempt had failed, and it was not because of the police or their weapons or their orders. It was because a dog's loyalty was stronger than corruption. By morning, Lena's condition had stabilized. A new medical team surrounded her, treating her with real medication. The traitor, in a white coat, sat in a holding cell, his face blank, his career gone, his fate sealed by the very syringe he carried. His desperate confession being paid off to silence her was already spreading up the chain of command. But beyond the paperwork, beyond the headlines, something deeper lingered in that hospital room. Max had not moved once. Even as nurses worked, even as officers filed reports, even as dawn's pale light broke through the blinds, he stayed. His head rested on Lena's chest, his ear pressed close as though listening for every fragile beat of her heart. Collins lingered at the door, watching silently. He wasn't the kind of man to admit mistakes, but he felt it now, heavy and undeniable. That dog, he muttered almost to himself, saw the truth before any of us. Ramirez, exhausted but proud, scratched Max's ear gently. He didn't just save her. He saved justice. Without her, the whole case would have collapsed. When Lena woke more fully, her voice was still weak, but her mind was clear. The first thing she saw was Max, his eyes locked onto hers, his entire being waiting for her recognition. Her lips curled faintly. You stayed. The officers turned away, giving her privacy, but they carried that moment with them. It was more powerful than any testimony, more honest than any oath. Max hadn't known about trials, evidence, or corruption. He didn't care about systems or laws. All he knew was love, and that love had stood between life and death, between silence and truth. Later, reporters would call Lena brave. Prosecutors would call her vital. But in that quiet room, with machines humming and her loyal dog curled against her side, she whispered the truth only he deserved to hear. You're my hero. And he was. Because when fear, money, and betrayal closed in, it wasn't the system that saved her. It was a dog who refused to let go. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments where in the world are you watching from. We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.